Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Baka Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the head apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwad who subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, to bring it out, making their bodies a living sacrifice. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the Men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC, first camp I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62 verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, keep not silence, give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So back at it with another lesson to the spirit and power Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. I'm going to touch on the Joe Biden executive gun control actions, executive orders that he signed today. This article was released by the Associated Press, apnews.com, about an hour ago. It's 9:39 out here in the West Coast in California where I'm at. So this is pretty much fresh off the press, and as fresh off the press as it gets. So with no further ado, let's get into it. And Lord's will, you'll find this lesson edifying. Just going to touch on one article today with this lesson. Going to try to make it a shorter lesson if the Spirit allows, of course. And once again, Lord's will, you'll find it edifying. So this is Washington, the Associated Press. President Joe Biden put on a modest White House ceremony Thursday to announce a half a dozen executive actions, those are executive orders, to combat what he called an epidemic at an international and it's like an international embarrassment of gun violence in America. So pretty much what he said is that we're becoming an embarrassment, on the worldwide scale. But the way you stole this land from, the Northern Kingdom, the northern tribes who are living here, that wasn't an embarrassment, How you constantly gun our people down on TV and you make our people look at that and suffer psychological abuse in the form of watching their own brothers getting gunned down. That's not an embarrassment. Let's keep this going. But he said much more is needed. And while Biden had proposed the most ambitious gun control agenda of any modern presidential candidate, his moves underscored his limited power to act alone on guns with difficult politics and pending legislative action on Capitol Hill. So Biden's new steps included a move to crack down on ghost guns, homemade firearms that, don't have serial numbers, lack serial numbers, better yet, to trace them. Basically, guns that people use to do dirt, in a sense. And people can purchase those guns without a background check. He's also moving to tighten regulations on pistol stabilizing braces, like the one used in the Boulder, Colorado shooting, where there was no blood in the ground. But, supposedly some people got capped last month and left 10 dead. And I seen the video, no blood in the ground. But oh well, The president's actions delivered on a pledge he made last month to take what he termed immediate common sense steps to address gun violence after a series of mass shootings basically caused attention on the issue. His announcement came the day after yet another episode, this one in South Carolina with the football player. Looks like this guy just had him on the screen. Let's see if it pops up again. Where 5 people were left dead. We just had him on the screen a little while ago. Let's see if it pops up again. It'll pop up in like another 30 seconds or so. I'll keep this going. Let's see if I want to grab anything else. So his orders to stop well short of the biggest campaign. That's the dude right there that capped all those people in South Carolina, Philip Adams. So basically, he's looking to hypnotize the mass general public into thinking that we have you know, a serious problem, with firearms and so on and so forth. And people get shot every day, man. I hate to break it to you, but people are constantly capping each other in America, man. This is a land that was built on gun violence, man. How do you think they got this land from the Native Americans and the Seminole Indians? The tribe of Gad signed 500 treaties, with you guys. But the tribe of Reuben didn't sign any treaties with you guys, man. And they fought you guys tooth and nail, man. And they were giving you hell, man. So you had to take the land of Florida and that whole southern area, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, the Carolinas as well, through bloodshed, man. Killing our brothers and sisters, man. This land is defiled, by the blood of the saints, man. You got this whole land by killing off millions and millions and millions of natives, man. So you have some nerve to talk about gun control all of a sudden, man. Your trail of blood, is immeasurable, man. And they're doing this to basically cause a divide. And it's all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua. He's putting the spirit on this man to do this, man. This is all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua. And they're doing this to cause a divide, basically, versus with the people who are pro-gun rights, anti-gun rights, pro-Air Maxes on their feet, that thing that they keep on advertising on television that you need, and they're issuing certificates for, pro-Air Maxes, versus the people who don't want to have Air Maxes provided by the government, those Air Max shoes. I'm talking in code. If you pick up what I'm putting down, you pick up what I'm putting down. If you don't, oh well. Due to YouTube guidelines, I got to sort of dance around what I'm talking about because this channel I'm going to put this video out on has 2 strikes. So, just being creative and still getting the message out, best way I can. So that's basically what they're doing, man. And they have to woo the public into believing that this is a problem. So when they eventually go in hard body and, eventually come for your firearms, a lot of people are going to be willing to do so and just give it up, and not put up a fight, but you're going to have those MAGA Edomites, who aren't going to be having it, man. But they have to run this type of rhetoric into people's faces and slam it down people's faces every day so that they believe that there's a boogeyman, man. And there's domestic terrorists, when the real domestic terrorist is on this screen right here. That flag behind you represents domestic terrorism. You've been doing nothing but terrorizing the children of Israel since you got your pale pink asses over here, man. So enough rambling. Let's get into the scriptures and wrap this lesson up. But you can see what's going on. For those that have eyes to see, they're doing show and tell, and they want to do a gun grab. And the only way that they're going to be able to get a lot of people to go along with the rhetoric is if they don't have the ability to defend themselves. So guess what they're doing? They're creating a narrative behind mass shootings, behind domestic terrorists, behind people who don't want to agree with the agenda, on a global scale. I went into that and the video got taken down, so I don't want to go too deep into that topic. But if you pick up what I'm putting down, that as well, because that's what it all comes down to. People who are going to be down, what they're presenting versus the people who don't want to be down with what they're presenting. And the people who have the ability to defend themselves as well as the people who know what's going on, are a threat to their goals that they're trying to accomplish, which is, one world government, one world everything. So this is Psalms 44:6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. And there's going to be a lot of zealots in Israel, ISUPK, Sakari. I just throw their names out there because those are the zealots. And, Lil Bow Wow and them, believers of the way. They're going to tell you that the solution is arming yourself and, so on and so forth. Well, that shows that they don't believe in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. They don't really have that breath. They don't have the spirit, and they don't have trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is going to protect them during Jacob's trouble, man, which shows that they're faithless, and you shall know them by their fruit. What did a recent very popular group get caught doing? They got caught with their pants down during Passover, man, and don't want to get off subject, but, it is what it is. And those are the same groups who are going to tell you to trust in your bow when these people start getting hard body with this stuff, man, but we over here who follow the doctrine of Yahweh Shai, under Great Millstone and like-minded brothers who teach the same doctrine, we know these scriptures like this are going to keep us stable in times to come, So I'm going to read this to you again. Psalms 44:6. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. And the sword is not going to save you, from the times that are coming. You're not going to be able to outgun Esau and his military battalions, those tanks, those Gurkha troops, his robotic machines, that he's gotten the cut, You're not going to be able to outgun or outshoot any of that, man. When this man comes in with a battalion of 24 to, 48 armed soldiers down to the T with AR-15s, you think your little 9mm is going to do anything against that, man? No, you're going to need protection from on high, protection from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. And pray for protection, pray for that covering, because you're going to need it in these times to come. We're all going to need it. Psalms 59:2. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. And this man is a bloody man, man. The scriptures refer to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, as the bloody man, man. This man has his flags in every single nation. In the nation of Ham, but in the land of Ham, he has his flag set up. France, Spain, Italy, England. They pretty much run the whole world as far as Edomite supremacy dominates this whole world, man. And that's how this man has went out and controlled lands. You need to trade oil and US dollars. Well, what does that show you? That shows you that this man is running everything. These people right here who look like him, they have the final say so, man. For now, in this world, in this age, in this eon, and that's what we're going to need protection from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, because when they go hard body and they just say to hell with our laws and everything and just start, kicking in doors and so on and so forth, you're going to need to be protected from that, man. And your sword, your bow, that's not going to be enough, This man has guns that can shoot, thousands of rounds in a minute, man. You think you're going to be able to, really do some damage with your little pea shooter, man? Your little Uzi, or you got one semi-automatic weapon, man? You think that's going to really do anything, man, when they got a battalion of 50 soldiers armed down to the T in a tank coming on your house? No, man, you're going to need protection from on high. Protection from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let's read this again. Psalms 59:2. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. Deliver me, It starts out with deliver me, That's what David was praying for, deliverance, from the workers of iniquity, Esau, Edom, and from bloody men, Esau, Edom, These are the times they're coming in. 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter and the 16th chapter. Let's read a little bit about it. 2nd Ezra 15-14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's what's happening, nation against a nation, kingdom against kingdom on a massive scale. But on a minor scale, you're going to have people, fighting against each other for bread and water, man, in the famine, kicking and invading, kicking in each other's doors and invading one another, It's going to get bad out here, man, real bad out here. And these are only the beginning signs right here. And this is a warning, and it's also encouragement for the brothers and the sisters who are in the fold that what we believe is true. Because the elders and apostles and the bishops who've been in the fold, the men who labors I ventured into and other brothers who are, teaching the same doctrine, they've been prophesying about these things for years, Ever since the apostles came on YouTube, they've been prophesying about this moment. Here we are. And before that, they were prophesying about these exact moments that we're living in right now. Let's keep it going. 2nd Ezra 15-16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. And that little raid, that botched raid, at the Capitol, that was nothing. That was all staged. That was mostly crisis actors, man. That came out a few days later after that a lot of those people were paid, man. And some of them were sincere in that crowd, thought they were, really doing some, MAGA shit. They thought they were down with the get down. But most of those were paid actors, man. But there's going to be a time where there's going to be sedition among men, and invading one another. And people are really not going to regard the government, man, or the powers that be, and they're going to be doing what happened at the Capitol for real. And on a local level, they're going to be not giving a fuck about the police, It's going to get bad out here, man, especially when these truckers don't want to get the Air Maxes on their feet, because they're forcing the Air Maxes on the truckers right now. There's only a 3-day supplies. There's only a 3 days worth of supplies, buddy, at Salakia in grocery stores. So guess what is going to happen when those truckers don't want the Air Maxes on their feet? Guess what? They're going to stop driving into your areas, man, dropping off goods. Thus, the food in the grocery store is going to get all bought up, man. Thus, it's going to be a famine, man. A bad one, man. On top of all the stuff they're doing to, farmers, killing off livestock, so on and so forth, stockpiling goods on purpose, printing money uncontrollably, giving out stimuluses left and right. That's all to crash the economy. On top of all these other things that are happening worldwide, wars, rumors of war, them wanting to get the Air Maxes on everybody's feet. And all these things are happening simultaneously, man. That should tell you something if you have eyes to see. I'm going to start from the top. 2nd Ezra 15-16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, a man shall desire to go in a city and shall not be able. That's what's happening right now as well. Lockdowns, martial law, that's coming. And you got certain countries that you can't even get in unless you have a receipt that you went to Nike to go get those Air Maxes, man. That's code talk for, what I'm talking about. That thing, that advertised thing by the media, man. And that's going to eventually lead to the thing of things, man. The prophesied thing, like the elder Atazawam was getting into the other day in his lesson. Shalom, elder. The prophesied thing, that thing that we keep on prophesying about, the MOB. They're going to want you to have those Maxes on your feet, those Air Maxes, and be comfortable with the Air Maxes. They got different versions of the Air Maxes, the Air Max 97s, the Air Max 91s, and they got the 2-for-1 special, the 2-for-1 special with the Air Maxes. You know what I'm talking about. Those advertised, Air Maxes that they want you to get 2 pairs of, And if you don't have those Air Maxes, you can't go in a city right now. In the land of Israel, of all places. Isn't that ironic? But I thought your gates shall be open continually. Oh, you must not be the people. Let's keep this going. 2nd Ezra 15:18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's what's going to happen. When these people start going hard body and they start snatching guns, from people and they can't defend themselves, guess what? They're going to go super hard body, and this is all the beginning birth pains of Jacob's trouble. We're looking at it right now. We're living in it. It's here. It's happening. Strap up mentally. Strap up mentally. This is the ultimate mental game, and it's going to get tough out here. It's going to get bad out here. And you're going to need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You're going to need that protection. You're going to need that garment. You're going to need to have this truth. So get into it and seek Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, why he may be found. The famine of the word, that's coming too. They're snatching down the videos left and right. You see brothers in the 4th, 5th, 6th channel, Well, that means that they're going to take this word away from the internet and eventually off the streets. That's why they're banning and making legislation to brand the Hebrew Israelites, and they're calling us black Hebrew Israelites, as domestic terrorists, because they don't want this word getting out. And that's all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai causing the famine of the word while all these other things are happening as well. Isn't that ironic? It's a beautiful thing if you understand it. And to those who don't, well, they're going to be the ones that are afraid. 2nd Ezra 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword, their houses with the sword, Salakia, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. I'm going to read this again. I got a little excited. Salakia. 2nd Ezra 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be those that have swords and those that don't have swords. And if you don't have the protection, from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, protection from on high, you're going to be one of the men that's going to be afraid. You may be a victim of this circumstance, or you may be one of the people that's actually doing this, and having no pity upon his neighbor and destroying people's houses with the sword, and spoiling their goods because of the lack of bread. That famine, that great famine. Let's keep this going. So, 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, 69 and 70. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. And a lot of people are going to consent to this, you know, and joke's on you, you know. If you don't have protection from on high, from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, then you're going to be thrown and rounded up in, you know, in a concentration camp. You know, you're going to be one of the spoils of war, you know, on the left-hand side, you know. 2nd Ezra 16:70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection. And that's a violent uprising, you know, against a government or government authority. And who's that government authority that they're going to come, that's like it, that they're going to come against? Got a little excited. They're going to come against the prophets and the servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. 2nd Ezra 16:70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection, a violent uprising, you know, against the government or authorities upon those that fear the Lord. And who are those that fear the Lord? The servants of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know. They're going to actually come against us, man. You know, that's what that congressional meeting was about, you know, with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, about misinformation, you know, social media and misinformation. You know, that's what the meeting was about a month ago, you know, where they mentioned the black Hebrew Israelites and connected that with domestic terrorism, because great insurrection, you know, a violent uprising is going to come against the servants and prophets of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. They're going to really try to bring it to us, man. And that's when all hell's going to break loose, you know, on the right-hand side. Brothers is going to get spiritual power. You know, you're going to see things that are going to be unexplainable, you know, at the Wadi Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, for the understanding, you know. It's going to be a beautiful sight, you know, because this man is actually going to try to touch the apple of the Most High's eye, and all hell's going to break loose on the right-hand side, you know. It's going to be some smoke in the city, literally. Toasty, burnt up. You're going to see brothers flying and some more shit, man. Putting in work. 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. And we're pulling down strongholds right now, you know, and that's all through this word going out, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, you know. We're not telling our followers to strap up. We're not telling them that they're going to be delivered via the sword, you know. We're telling them to not trust in their bow or sword, because that's what the scriptures say. That's what thus say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai says, you know. And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal at all, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, you know, tearing down white Jesus, Cesare Borgia, you know, Serapis Christos and that image, tearing down Islam and all the fake gods, you know, of the heathens, you know, tearing down all these abominable holidays that our people keep, you know, tearing down black culture, Hispanic culture, Native American culture, showing that that's all heathenism, learn ways of the heathen learned by, you know, our people under captivity, you know, pulling down all those strongholds, man. And that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that we're doing that. And call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, for the ability to do that, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful sight to see. You know, the elect are waking up around all the four winds of the earth. You got brothers waking up in Japan, brothers waking up in the Philippines, brothers waking up in Africa, you know, amongst the Hamites, you know. You got brothers waking up, you know, all over the globe, man. You know, just like it's prophesied, you know. And I shall gather my elect from the four winds where I've spread them, you know, roughly paraphrasing, you know. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who's that he? The elect. The men, women, and children who are predestined to receive salvation from the Heavenly Father, from the foundations of the earth. Last scripture. Try to do this rapid fire. And, Lord's will, you were edified by this lesson right here. Try to make it a quicker one, but hey, it is what it is. But Lord's will, you were edified by it. And slack it for the stutter step. And, sometimes I get a little excited. Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And this is going to try everybody. This hour of temptation, everybody's going to be tempted. Everybody's going to be tried. The whole world, And we have to keep, the word, the holy commandments from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, not to prick our skin, puncture our skin, not to put those Air Maxes on our feet, not to get karagmad, none of that, man, not to worship the image of the beast, or give into the beast system, because these people are going to come down hard body, man, and they're going to use all sorts of tricks. You're going to see your neighbors, your best friend from when you were in the world, give in. You're going to see your family members, go down there to the Nike store to get those Air Maxes. Don't get weak over it. That's prophesied to happen, man. Not everybody's going to have this understanding. Not everybody's going to take heed to the word, Be thankful that you have it, man. Be thankful that you believe the report, man. Be thankful that you're not walking around being a dry bone anymore, man. You have that flesh and that skin put on you. You have that breath, back in you, So be thankful, Let's read this again. Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Everybody's going to be tried, But if we keep the word, the scriptures, as far as having them, on our mind all the time, constantly being occupied in prophecy, and the faith, which is going to be key to have during these times, during Jacob's trouble. This is a promise he made to the elect. This is red writing right here. Yahushua gave his blood, for the elect, and he made the elect a promise. We're reading it. He says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. That's a promise he made to the elect, man. So know that there's a certain remnant of people, who are from the nation of Israel, who Yahushua promised to keep from the hour of temptation. That means to protect you through the perils and through the rough times, through Jacob's trouble, through the famine of the word, through the great insurrection, everything. So Lord's will, you're edified by this lesson. I'd like to close on out, give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Makak Wadash, double honors to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the head apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Aqua who subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, making their bodies a living sacrifice. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the Men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC. First camp I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62, verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, keep not silence, give him no rest day or night, till Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So once again, Lord's will, you are edified by this lesson. And to the next time, Lord's will, shalom. DTA, Abba Babal. Soon, 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 soon.